Greetings, my peeps, and welcome to the All Things Basketball Podcast with your boy GD. In this episode, we will recap Week 12 in the NBA, of course including my Players of the Week, also the Players of the Month for December, as well as the coaches and the rookies. Also, we had a manic Monday in terms of scoring in the NBA. We'll cover that. Also, you have good news and bad news in terms of injuries. Good news for the Golden State, bad news for a lot of others. And also, we'll just go through Monday through Wednesday games only. So, alright, so with that said, I'll see you on the episode. Alright, guys. Okay, guys, we are back. It's All Things Basketball with your boy GD once again, so let's get into it. It's a lot to uncover. We're going over Week 12 in the NBA. A lot of news to get to, guys. So more likely than not, it's going to be split into 2 episodes because I got a lot to cover. So, alright, so let's get into it, shall we? So, let's get it started. Of course, as always, we start out the episode with the Players of the Week. And oddly enough, it's actually 2 former teammates. You got Luka Doncic with the Dallas Mavericks. And in the East, Kristaps Porzingis with the Washington Wizards. So, yeah, that's deserves a hand clap, that's for sure. So, let's start with Luka, who had a fantastic week. His team went 3-0. They beat the Knicks, and that game he had a 60-point, 21 rebound, 10 assist game. And then he played Houston, where he had a triple-double there. And then he beat San Antonio, where Popovich said he was going to hold him under 50. Au contraire, he scored 51. So his average on the week was 48.7 points per game. Whew. That's like Chamberlain-like. Goodness. 13 rebounds, 10.7 assists, 2.3 steals. He shot it, get this, 61.7% from the field, 44.4% from the three-point line, and then 74% from the free throw line. So, you talk about a fantastic week. Luka Doncic continuing his march towards the MVP trophy. So, good week for him. Porzingis, that was a bit of a surprise there. Kristaps Porzingis with the Wizards, as I mentioned, 4-0 he went on the week. He got wins against the Philadelphia 76ers, and then he got wins against Phoenix, Orlando, and the Milwaukee Bucks. So pretty good week for Kristaps Porzingis, and Washington Wizards with a nice little streak going there. So his average for the week, 24.5 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, 2.5 blocks per game. He shot it nearly 56% from the field, and then from the free throw line, 85.7% for him. So Kristaps Porzingis turning in a nice season. In fact, he hasn't missed a lot of games. So he's been very available. In fact, I could say it's safe to say he's been more available than Bradley Beal. So Kristaps Porzingis having a nice season for the Wizards. So, all right, let's get into the games. So we'll start with Monday, of course. 11 games on the slate. I'll just highlight a few games that stood out. And actually, Monday was a fantastic fantastic day for NBA basketball. A lot of scoring explosions all over the place. But I have to start with the number one scoring binge, and that was from Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell goes bonkers. He scores 71 points. And within that, 7 3-pointers. He also had 11 assists, 8 rebounds, as Cleveland beats Chicago in overtime, by the way, 145 to 134. So you still have these crazy high-scoring games and so forth. And actually, Chris Broussard had a kind of a idea of why it's happening. He listed 3 things. He mentioned the 3-point shot being a factor, the availability of that, and guys taking advantage of that. Then also, the second thing he mentioned was teams are giving away the mid-range shot. So if you're a guy like, let's say DeMar DeRozan, you're living good because that's where he lives at, mid-range. So you're giving that up. Guys are getting easy shots if they knock them down. And then the third thing was there are more one-man shows than ever. So, of course, we talk about Luka. I would call Donovan Mitchell a one-man show. But Anthony Davis, when he was healthy, you got a Steph Curry, bit of a one-man show there. Keldon Johnson over there, and with San Antonio, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with OKC. So you got a few of them there. So, but nonetheless, Mitchell, he gets to 71 points and also 11 assists. So I did the math. The man accounted for 65% of the scoring in that game. Wow. So Cleveland gets that win in overtime over a division rival in Chicago. DeMar DeRozan, who I just spoke of, 44 points for him, 4 assists, and 4 steals in that game. So Cleveland gets the win. Brooklyn Nets win their 12th straight in a 139-103 drubbing of the San Antonio Spurs. So, and in that game, let's talk about that. One moment. Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. So in that game, you have Kyrie leading the way with 27 points, 8 rebounds. Kevin Durant with his 25 points, 11 assists, and 3 steals. So Brooklyn still rolling along. So they get the win. Let's continue on. Golden State wins in 2 overtimes to defeat the Atlanta Hawks. Excuse me. In 2 overtimes, 143 to 141. And in this game, Klay Thompson, he explodes for 54 points. And within that, he has 10 3-point goals. Wow. So, another explosion there, guys. And he also had 8 rebounds in that one. Also for Golden State, Jordan Poole, 28 points for him, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks. Kevin Looney, 14 points but 20 rebounds, 4 assists for him. So, and then for Atlanta, you have, of course, Trae Young, 30 points, 14 assists, 7 rebounds. Then you have DeJounte Murray, 25 points for him. And then John Collins, 25 for him, along with 13 rebounds, 2 blocks. So, Murray also had 7 assists, and he had, looks like, 9 rebounds. So Golden State wins a tough one, and it took 2 overtimes to get it. So there you have that. Joel Embiid, he joins the party on Monday. He scores 42 points along with 11 rebounds, 5 assists, as Philly takes care of the New Orleans Pelicans 120-111. And in that game, James Harden, he had 27 points. Also for the Pelicans, little bad news there, guys. Zion Williamson, he did have 26 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, but he hurt his hamstring in the fourth quarter. So we'll get a diagnosis on him before everything is said and done. So he'll miss some time. But so he had 26, and also C.J. McCollum with 26 and 6 rebounds. So that's the story there. LeBron James, even he joined in on it. Sore ankle and all, he joined in on Monday with 43 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, as the LA Lakers get the road win versus Charlotte, 121-115. So LeBron James continuing his march towards the all-time scoring record in the NBA. So getting it done there. Luka Doncic, he still keeps it going. 39 points for him, 12 rebounds, 8 assists. As Dallas, they get a road win at Houston, 111-106. So Luka continued to do Luka things. Kevin Porter Jr., 25 points for him, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 steals in the game. And then Jerami Grant, he scores 36 points, including 5 3-pointers, in a 135-106 win over his former team, actually, the Detroit Pistons. So Jerami Grant showing up and showing out. And actually, in this game was the debut of Gary Payton II. Remember, he missed that all the time with the core muscle injury that he sustained. I believe in the playoffs last year, he was still dealing with that. So he plays in this one. 13 minutes for him, 7 points. And he also has about 4 assists. So good to see Gary Payton Jr. back out. Well, I'm sorry, Gary Payton III back out there. So definitely a tough kid and a baller. So all right, and then the last bit of news for Monday: Bam Adebayo has 31 points with 13 rebounds. As Miami, it's like a theme here. They get the road win 110-100 at the Clippers. So Bam getting them the win there. Tyler Hero, 23 points for him. That includes 5 3-pointers and 7 rebounds. And for the Clippers, Paul George, 25 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 steals for him. So that's the news for Monday. Let's move to Tuesday, shall we? And Tuesday, being that Tuesday is the 3rd of January, you know what that means. Players of the month. Coaches of the month and rookies of the month. So we'll go through each. I was a little tardy with that applause button. So let's talk about players of the month. Take a wild guess who it is in the West. It's that man again, Luka Doncic. For the Dallas Mavericks, his team went 11-6. And in that month, he scored over 35 points per game, over 9 assists, 8.5 rebounds, 1.6 steals. He also had 3 triple-doubles in the month, and he shot at nearly 52% from the field. That's astonishing at with the volume shooting that he's doing. That's pretty great. 42.4% from the three-point range, 75.2% from the free throw line for Luka. So Luka having a fine month in the month of December. So, and then in the East, Joel Embiid. His team goes 9-4 for the month, and he, 35.4 points per game, nearly 10 rebounds, over 4 assists, 1.7 blocks, and he had 1 triple-double in the month. Shot it from the field, 54.5% from the field, which is par for the course for him. He shot, surprisingly, 41.7% from three-point range, but he's not taking the amount of shots that Luka's taking from three. So, and then from the free throw line, great numbers for a big man, 85.8% from the line. So Joel Embiid, the Eastern Conference Player of the Month. Let's talk about coaches now. Coach of the Month. And who do we have here? It's Willie Green. Willie Green, his team went 10-5 for the month. Within that was 2 5-game win streaks. So he goes 2-1 in overtime. And mind you, keep this in mind. For the entire month, no Brandon Ingram, and you had Zion Williamson in and out of the lineup. So you got to take that into account. His quality wins for the month. He beat Denver. He beat Phoenix twice. He beat Indiana, and he beat the Sixers. So Willie Green getting it done for his Pelicans team. And in the East, Jacque Vaughn for the Brooklyn Nets. They go 12-1 for the month, which includes an 11-game win streak. So their only loss in the month was to the team they faced in the playoffs last year, the Boston Celtics. So their quality wins include Milwaukee, at Cleveland, and at Indiana. So the Brooklyn Nets trying to make some noise. We'll see what happens with them. Then we go to December's rookies of the month. In the West, the pickings was slim, but they found somebody. Keegan Murray for the Sacramento Kings, the fine young small forward there. Out of curiosity, though, their team went 8-6 for the month. He scored 12.7 points per game, 5.5 rebounds. He shot at 46% from the field, 46.4 from three-point range, good, and 65% from the free throw line. So Keegan Murray starting to get his NBA legs under him a bit. And in the East, of course, it's Paolo Banchero of the Orlando Magic. His team went 8-7 for the month. He scored over 19 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, over 4 assists, over a steal per game. He shot at only 40.7% from the field. Yeah, he's, he has no choice but to be shooting it over there. So I expect his efficiency to get a little bit better as the season goes, I would imagine. And 78.2% from the free throw line for him. So that's how that shaped out for the players, coaches, and rookies of the month. So Tuesday was a light day. 3 games played. I'll just cover the 3 games since since it's just a light schedule there. Giannis Antetokounmpo. He follows up Monday's madness with going nuclear himself. 55 points per game, which is a career high. 10 rebounds and 7 assists as Milwaukee beats Washington. So they halt Washington's win streak. 123 to 113. So Giannis, of course, getting it done in a major way in this one. And then supporting him, Brook Lopez with 21 points, 12 rebounds. He had 6 blocks in this game, so very good showing for him. And on the losing side for the Wizards, Kristaps Porzingis, 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists for him. So this is the game that really had my eyes pop out of my head. Oklahoma City Thunder, in a game in which they did not have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they destroyed Boston 150 to 117. I mean, I was stunned when I saw what was happening here. And pretty much the game got away in the second, third period. That's when they outscored Boston 88 to 58. My goodness. So, yeah, this one really, because you think of Boston, you think of a defensive-minded team, a team now clamped down, all those things. I believe Robert Williams III did not play, so I'm sure that had an effect on things. So you have that added in. And also Marcus Smart, he's been limping around lately, so I'm sure that was a factor as well. Leading the way was Josh Giddey, 25 points for him, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. And actually, they had 5 players, that scored 20 or more, including 2 bench players. One guy named Isaiah Joe, for crying out loud. So, and in all, they had 7 players in double figures. So, they pretty much spread the love around. But this was a bit of a stunner here. And then for Boston, of course, the 2 names we know. Jalen Brown, 28 points, and Jason Tatum, 27 points with 6 rebounds for him. So, and then the last game for Tuesday, DeAaron Fox. He goes off for 37 points, 6 assists, 2 blocks, in a tough road win over the Utah Jazz, 117-115. In fact, it took a game-winning layup, his game-winning layup, that secured the game for the Sacramento Kings. So, and then also for Sacramento, Domantas Sabonis still playing with the fractured thumb, 21 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists. On the losing side, Lauri Markkanen, that's where things begin and end in Utah. 28 points, 8 rebounds. And Jordan Clarkson. It's like the way you hear Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, it's the same in Utah with Markkanen and Clarkson. 24 points for him, and he dropped 5 threes in that game. So there you go, guys. All right. That's your Tuesday. Let's move to Wednesday. Wednesday, 12 games on the slate. Wow. So we won't cover every single game. We'll just highlight the ones that, that are noteworthy. So, but we have injury news, bad and good. So let's get into it. Zion Williamson, he's been diagnosed. We talked about this injury on Monday. He will be out at least 3 weeks with that hamstring. So Zion Williamson starting to get the hang of things, as far as playing goes, but down once again, guys. So they're gonna have to man the fort until he gets back. So he'll be out at least 3 weeks. He'll be reevaluated in 3 weeks. So we'll see what happens there. And good news, Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors are targeting his return for actually this week, for Friday the 13th of January, from that shoulder injury that he suffered. So Steph Curry making his way back to the court, which is a sigh of relief for the Warrior faithful over there. So that definitely deserves an applause. Yes, so. Alright, so let's talk about the game, shall we? Again, we won't get into every single game. We'll just touch and go as we go forth. So, Donovan Mitchell falls back down to earth with a 20-point, and he did it on 6 of 20 shooting. Goodness. And 3 of 12 from three-point range. But he did have 9 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, as Cleveland defeats Phoenix 90-88. So this is more like your 90s brand basketball with the lower scores here. Chris Paul, 25 points for him for the Suns, along with 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. But Cleveland gets the win nonetheless. So now in the Eastern bout, the Philadelphia 76ers beat the Indiana Pacers in overtime, 129-126. So this is a game that didn't have Joel Embiid in it. He's still nursing his injury. James Harden leads the way, actually leads 8 players in double figures, 26 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks. So nice showing for Harden. And on the Pacers side, Buddy Hield, he's been percolating lately. 24 points, among that 6 3-pointers, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. That's a nice line for Buddy Hield. You don't normally see that. And he led 7 players in double figures for the Pacers. So Memphis get their 4th win on the road at Charlotte. Seems like everybody's beating up at Charlotte at home. 131-107. Ja Morant, of course, 23 points, 8 assists, and 2 steals to lead the Grizzlies. LaMelo Ball, so you had a bout between 2 young point guards, Ja Morant and LaMelo Ball. He scores 23 points, but he does it on 7 of 23 shooting, 12 assists, and 4 rebounds. So Grizzlies starting to catch fire. I mean, for the most part, they're pretty healthy. They got Desmond Bane back, so for the most part, they're healthy. So I see Memphis making their move right about now. So we'll see what happens there. Jalen Brunson of the Knicks gets a career high 38 points, along with 7 rebounds, 6 assists, as the New York Knicks squeezed by the San Antonio Spurs. Remember the week before, they went to San Antonio and laid that egg. So they get to win 117-114 here. And now it's only because down the stretch, Knicks took the lead, and the Spurs could have at least tied it with a 3, but they had a mental lapse there where they got a 5-second violation. That's a young team over there, so when you got a young team, you kind of expect these kind of mistakes every now and again. So that was a costly one. And then leading the way for the Knicks, well, Jalen Brunson did, but also Julius Randle. He had 25 points, 13 rebounds, 4 blocks, including a vicious chase down block, and 3 steals. Julius Randle is playing all-star basketball. There's just no two ways about it. This past month, he's been on absolute fire. So it'll be interesting to see when the all-star balloting comes in and how that shakes out. So we'll see what happens there. Then for the Spurs, Keldon Johnson. I was listening to the pregame, and Sean Elliott, he does the color analyst for the Spurs, and he was asked, who do you compare? Well, they asked about Keldon Johnson, and Sean Elliott said something that blew me away. He compared him to a Bernard King light. I'm like, wow, that's high praise. The kid can score. He's pretty proficient as well. So that's high praise for him. So for Keldon Johnson, he had 26 points and 7 rebounds in that game. So Giannis Antetokounmpo, he follows up his 55-point performance with a 30-point, 21 rebound, 10 assists, triple-double, as the Milwaukee Bucks get another road win. This time at Toronto, they get the win there. So Brook Lopez once again supporting him with 9 points but 19 rebounds, 2 blocks for him. So Fred VanVleet, he leads the Raptors, 28 points, 12 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals. Pascal Siakam, they put the clamps on him in this one, guys. 11 points on 4 of 18 shooting. Whew, man, that's unlike Pascal. Also, 8 rebounds, 4 assists for him. Despite KD's 44-point performance, including 5 threes in that game, Brooklyn gets their 12-game win streak snapped versus Chicago. I told you guys last week that was going to be a tough one, and yeah, it shook out as such. So Chicago gets the win 121 to 112. Patrick Williams, a name we haven't really called, the young forward over there for Chicago, he combines with DeMar DeRozan to score 22 points apiece in that one. And then for Brooklyn, also you have Kyrie with 25 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals. But the 12-game winning streak snapped. So back to the drawing board, but still, nice. Definitely a nice streak for the Nets. Saddiq Bey's buzzer beater, 3-pointer, lifts Detroit on the road. Seems like it's a theme here. Against Golden State, 122 to 119. In that game, Bojan Bogdanovic, 29 points for him, including 5 threes, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals for the Detroit Pistons. And then for Golden State, Klay has his 30 points. Then you have Jordan Poole with a 24 points, 6 assists, 5 rebound game in the loss. So, and then finally, as LeBron sits out with a cold, I'm not gonna go there, guys. If he's got a cold, he's got a cold. What are you gonna do? I'm sure the LeBron haters will be out full force when they hear this one. But nonetheless, the Lakers get the win. They get by Miami 112 to 109. Dennis Schroeder in that game, 32 points. So glimpses of the old Dennis Schroeder coming out. and he had 4 steals in that game. Russell Westbrook, I'll talk about him later, but Russell Westbrook, 21 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 3 steals from the bench, of course. So Russ having a nice game. Bam Adebayo, 30 points, 13 rebounds, 3 blocks and 2 steals for him, so that's par for the course. And then you have Jimmy Butler with his 27 points and 3 steals. So there you have it there. So that's the Wednesday slate for now, guys. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut it off here. I still got some to go, but we'll cut it off here for now. On the other side, the following episode, Thursday's games, Friday's games, Saturday's games, and Sunday's games. We'll be talking about the first round of All-Star voting. And then when everything is said and done, I'll give you my mid-season awards. So, already got my mid-season awards wrapped up and ready to hand out. So, guys, I thank you for listening as always. Much appreciated. And I'll catch you on the next episode. All right? All right. Peace, and we'll talk later. So, my peeps, if you like what you're listening to, you can go to my website, www.allthingsbasketballwithgd.com. You can also email me at thatsportsdudegd@gmail.com. To support this podcast, you can go to my PayPal, and that email is thatsportsdudegd@gmail.com. Also on my Anchor page, I have a support button there that you can also use to help the podcast. I'm on all the major platforms like Anchor, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Amazon, SoundCloud, YouTube, Castbox, Radio Public, Podchaser, just to name a few. And also you can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Clubhouse, and Fanbase. So, once again, I thank you for listening and supporting this podcast. And take care and be safe.